Sasha, it's 9:30. Time for bed. 5-year-old Sasha darted proudly into the bathroom. His mother followed him anxiously. Such a nimble son requires constant supervision. While she helped him undress and shampooed his hair, Sasha chattered non-stop about the new girl at kindergarten, Olenka. Such a touching address made the woman smile proudly. Her son, even at his young age, already felt like a protector and generally tried to behave like a true gentleman. Later, while putting Sasha to bed, she listened to yet another endless story about how he defended Olenka to the older boys, who of course capitulated in disgrace. She stroked her son's blonde hair when she suddenly noticed a silver thread in it. She looked closer and realized her eyes were not deceiving her. It was a strand of gray hair. Trying not to show the anxiety that had overcome her, she continued to run her fingers through her son's hair, nodding and barely catching the meaning of what he was saying. "I think there aren't any more." "Mom?" "Yes?" She felt his intense gaze on her. "And that girl, will she come again?" "Olenka?" "Yes, I think she will. If you want, we'll invite her and Mom over tomorrow." Sasha raised his eyebrows in surprise. His usually cheerful face suddenly seemed so thoughtful to his mother, as if he were just playing at being a 5-year-old. "No, Mom," he sighed strangely. "That is, I want Olenka to come. And that girl, I don't want her to come to us anymore." He finished the last sentence in a whisper and hid under the blanket. Now, the woman was seriously worried. "Sasha," a muffled moan was heard from under the blanket. "Look out for a minute." She threw back the edge of the blanket and was frightened by the pallor of her son's face. He lay with his eyes closed and seemed so miserable that her heart sank. "Mom, I'm afraid of her." "Who are you afraid of?" "The girl." He nodded and opened his eyes. "She comes to me and makes me play with her, and then she shows me all sorts of pictures. Mom, she's bad." "Calm down, darling." The woman stroked her son's head again. A grey strand. Tomorrow she would definitely need to make an appointment with a child psychotherapist. She remembered her childhood fear, someone with glowing yellow eyes living in her closet. When the adults put her to bed and turned off the light in the nursery, after a while the closet door would unlock and, yes, one day, she saw those eyes right above her. The memories were dim like fogged-up windows in a car, but she remembered that mortal terror, the feeling of the inevitable end forever. Was it really just a figment of a child's imagination? "Tell me about this girl." Sasha bit his lip and shook his head. "I can't. She said it was our secret. And she also said, He suddenly began to tremble slightly. His mother hugged him, trying to calm him down and let him finish speaking. "So what did she say?" "She said she remembered you when you were little." The woman felt something inside her snap. The feeling of growing fear intensified with every second, and when her husband looked in the nursery door, she almost cried out in fear and relief. "Did I disturb you?" "No." She forced herself to smile and, releasing her son from her arms, looked closely at his face. Sasha's eyes were suspiciously shining, but there were no tears in sight. He seemed tired. "Do you want me to sleep with you tonight?" Sasha pouted, almost regaining his former appearance. The woman let out an imperceptible sigh. "Mom, I'm not a little boy anymore." "Of course." She got out of bed, kissed him, and headed for the door. "But still, if you see or hear anything at night, call me or Dad immediately, okay?" "Okay." Sasha smiled and wished them good night. "Is everything okay?" "Yes," she tried to force a smile. Her husband stroked her hand with genuine concern, and she leaned back gratefully on the pillow. "It's so good that you're with me. You know, I almost believed Sasha's story." "About a girl," he snorted. "He's a big fantasist. Remember when he was 3, he insisted that the blanket was trying to eat him?" "Yeah, but I don't think that's normal. He's a healthy boy. He's not afraid of anything. I think we need to take him to the doctor." I found a grey strand in his hair. The man propped himself up on his elbows. "It can't be. I swear to you. And to be honest, these fantasies of his scare the life out of me." She said she remembers you. Yellow eyes in the darkness of the closet. She shuddered and winced, driving away the memories. Tomorrow, always tomorrow. She listened to the nursery. It was silent there. "Let's go to sleep, okay?" the man said with wobbly lips, and his hand slid limply down. Trying to shake off the unpleasant thoughts, she closed her eyes, hoping that sleep would not be long in coming tonight. "Shall we play?" Sasha, trembling, hid under the blanket. "I don't want to." "Stupid. You're scared. Don't be scared. It will be fun." Sasha, without getting out from under the blanket, desperately shook his head. "We will have real fun." A quiet chuckle. "Come out, boy." The blanket was thrown back, and the boy's mouth opened in a silent scream. "We will play," croaked the monster, who had recently been a little girl, and apparently smiled, revealing a row of long, sharp teeth. The last thing the boy saw before disappearing into the darkness were yellow eyes shining with malicious triumph. "Did you hear?" The woman listened into the silence, trying to catch the slightest sound. She was awakened by a strange wheezing sound, but maybe it was just a dream. Suddenly, something banged in the nursery. She screamed and grabbed the man. "Quick!" He instantly jumped out of bed and rushed into the nursery. The woman, shaking off a moment of stupor, was about to follow him when suddenly his desperate, blood-curdling scream broke the silence. "No!" Beside herself, she rushed to her husband and, entering the room, pressed her hands to her mouth in horror. The man was sitting by the bed, clutching a small figure wrapped in a blanket to his chest. However, this was not what caused the woman to lose consciousness. Sasha's face, completely blue, was distorted in a smile, an eerie grin of a skull in the desert. Strands of grey hair hung over empty eye sockets, and in his hand he clutched a piece of paper with a drawing on it, on which... "Doctor, are you sure?" "Absolutely. There's no point in prescribing more intensive therapy. We've made little progress as it is." With these words, he glanced at the woman in the heavy hospital gown, staring blankly at the wall opposite. Tranquilizers won't allow her to think coherently for at least another 8 hours. The intern approached the doctor's desk and looked again at the crumpled child's drawing of a girl holding a boy's hand. Both had joyful smiles on their faces, except the girl had empty triangles instead of eyes. A man stood next to the boy, his hand resting on his son's shoulder. Without a doubt, the drawing was by a child. But who was this girl? Perhaps the dead boy's friend, although... The intern glanced at the woman. It's no wonder the poor thing went crazy. Her son died of a heart attack at the age of 5. Her husband committed suicide under very mysterious circumstances. In her place, he probably would have preferred to pump himself full of tranquilizers until he completely dissolved into nothingness. "Mommy, I'm scared," The woman tried to get out of bed, but her head felt like lead. She was barely able to move her fingers. "Shall we play?" "Darling, there's nothing to worry about. He's such a dreamer." She said she remembers you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to look. The hum of voices merged into a single stream. "Shut up." The woman helplessly closed her eyes and whispered into the darkness. "Shut up, for God's sake. Olenka is the best girl. It can't be. A child his age doesn't have grey hair. Do you remember me?" The voice stood out from the others. She had heard it once upon a time. It was a voice that resounded in hell, her personal hell. "Shall play? Let's be my mommy." The innocent child's voice laughed with a terrible, inhuman laughter. "We are here. We are all here." It was her husband and Sasha. Unable to fight any longer, she opened her eyes. "Yes, we are all here, and we miss you. I've been waiting for you for so long, Mommy." The monster came close to her, and she recognized the look of her childhood horror, her nightmare. "We love you. Let's go play," it croaked. The last thing her crumbling consciousness caught was the cold laughter of her son and the putrid touch of her dead husband's hand.